What's up, everybody? Ryan here. We've reached 10 degrees today, and I got another no heat call. 2 units, one in the front and one in the rear of this store. Man, it's cold, and this place is a graveyard. Unfortunately, this isn't the unit I'm here to work on, but as you can see, this is the type of crap we've got up here. Some new units, some old units, some units that have been completely stripped. I gotta head all the way over there. So when I find the units that I'm working on, I'll bring you back. All right, this is gonna be our first one. Lucky number 7, Allied. Basically Linux, and the disconnect's off. Okay, well, there's a good reason why it's not heating. Let's see if there's a reason why the disconnect's off. Holy crap, getting my workout in today. Of course, I'm not gonna be able to easily inspect the heat exchanger. Good Lord. We remove a panel or two and see what we've got going on. Blower, filters. Looks like this is the same style. You got to pull the double blower wheel out to inspect the heat exchanger. Electrical heating, all electric here. No heat exchanger. Oh, that's good. I don't have to check the heat exchanger. Let's see what's going on. Looks like a fairly new unit. I haven't got to the model and serial number yet. I got 2 electric strip heat packages, contactor feeding both strip heaters. Looks pretty burnt. I'm about to pull my meter out and start checking fuses and see, you know, if somebody just found a bunch of blown fuses and shut it off in the meantime. Neither of the limits were tripped on the heat strip packages. I'm also going to open up the blower and see what we got going on there. Lovely time for my meter battery to be dead. Unbelievable. Okay, so let me inspect that blower and see if I can find anything crazy right off the bat there before I hike 2 miles back to my freaking van. I'm half tempted to just turn the disconnect on and see what happens. Anyway, let me pull this blower out, pull this blower apart and see what we've got going on. All right. Blower sounds like dog poop, but it doesn't mean it's bad. Bearings are decent on the blower. We're gonna be writing up to come back and do a full inspection on everything. This is a new account we just picked up. This one, the disconnect's off. Maybe it was left off. Maybe somebody turned it off on purpose. I'm gonna walk back down to my van and get a meter that works. There's some new batteries, and we're gonna go from there. All right, so I opted for the new batteries. I got a box of fuses here, old fuses. Somebody's replaced fuses here. Those 3 are good. These 3 are good. I'm getting nothing to ground on either side of this contactor. So that's telling me that, you know, at least it's not picking up right now if anything's shorted to ground in the heat strips. I'm gonna test the blower windings and test them to ground. Look over the contactors for the compressors. I don't believe this is a heat pump. I don't see any reversing valves. I just see straight TXVs. You know, so I believe we just have straight AC with electric strip heat. Who knows how long this thing's been shut off. Transformer, electric heat. Got some time delays here, some relays, relay heat, stage 2. I find it odd that both heat strips are running through one contactor. Limits in there. So we're gonna go from there. I'm gonna do what I said. I'm gonna test everything to ground, see if I can find a reason why these this system was left off. Maybe somebody just left it off on accident. It's happened before, so I wouldn't be surprised. I just want to do my due diligence and make sure there's no obvious issue before I throw the disconnect on this and test it in heat, I am going to be recommending the blower motor because it's not sounding too hot. If I find anything of any significance, I'll bring you back. Well, fuses in the disconnect are good. Fuses here are good. Fuses in the heat strips are good. Tested everything, found nothing shorted to ground, anything like that. I'm gonna look over these contactors a little closer, but I'm getting to the point where I'm just gonna turn it on, see if anything happens. But I want to pull these covers and take a look, see what these look like. Transformers are good. And that's about as far as I got. I found nothing and no reason why it would be tripping. I checked the wire that feeds that blower motor, make sure it wasn't rubbed out or anything like that. I didn't see anything. So let's let me look these over and then we'll go from there. Well, I'm gonna kick it on, see what happens. So let's stand back. Yeah, we got a blower. That's good. And we have heat strips. I gotta wonder if somebody didn't just forget to turn this thing on. I want to shut it off real quick. I want to shut it off and button these up just so I can check amp draw and not have my face exposed. 480 volt unit. I'm up here in the freezing cold. The last thing I need is to have something explode in my face or shock me. I still have that unit over there to look. I could have went home, but I volunteered. Should have went home. I'm not going to be able to check the amp draw on those very good, but yeah, that's cooked. I really believe this should have W1 and W2. Why are we running both banks of strip heat off of one contactor? I believe there should be another contactor here. I'm going to get the numbers off all this and we're going to do a little more investigating into why we don't have a independent contactor for each bank of strip heat. But it's not something I'm about to Google up here right now. If I can get this thing working, I'm gonna damn, it's cold. So I might have to keep this one down just so I can check amp draw on it. I'll be able to check the amp draw on these strip heaters right here. 1, 2, 3. I just don't want anything to blow up in my face here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, both strip heaters coming off one contactor. And it's a 30 amp contactor. I'm gonna get all the models and serial numbers and we're gonna look into that. This should have its own fuses and its own contactor. Honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and kick it on. Of course, there's a blower. 17 amps. 17 amps. 17 amps. I want to see what we're pulling total. 35. And that's a 30 amp. That's a 30 amp contactor. I'm half tempted to just disable one bank of heat for now, come back, wire everything up independently, and go through the whole shebang of wiring it up properly. I believe we should have wires that feed into this bank for second stage. I mean, we've got a relay second stage heat. Yeah, we've got time delays. Delay, heat, 30 seconds. Delay, heat. I'm gonna look into that, but I believe this is a 30 amp contactor. 25 FLA, 35 amp. So 25 amp? Clearly over on that one. I think I'm going to disconnect the second set of strip heat and we're going to wire in wired in properly when we come back. Even if we just ran a second contactor and just ran wires, then each bank would be pulling through one contactor and wouldn't burn it all up like this. But I'm gonna get the schematics and we're gonna come back and we're gonna redo it so each bank of strip heat has its own contactor. So for now, I'm gonna unhook this one, and this contactor is just gonna be taking care of one bank of strip heat. We'll run everything, get all the schematics. It's probably sitting over there. I'm not doing it today. All right, I disconnected this one. My tape is almost worthless here at 10 degrees out. I cut the ends off, stripped it. I've got no power in through there, so it's buttoned off, buttoned up, and pinned up to the side for now. We're pulling 18.21 amps through a 25 amp contactor. I feel a little better about that. A little heat is better than no heat, in my opinion. So we do have write-ups. We're gonna come back with some contactors. We're gonna rewire this to be properly working on W2. We're gonna reach out to Lennox and get everything we need for that. Gonna write up the blower motor as well, just because it sounds like garbage. So I'm buttoning this one up, heading that way, and we'll see what's going on with that one. Across the frozen tundra, I'm moving. Hopefully no polar bears come up. Holy shit, look at that roof. It's just come apart from the cement parapet wall. They're gonna have some problems here in the spring when all this snow melts. Oh yeah, gonna need a new roof for sure. Anyway, like I said, guys, it's 10 degrees out. My feet are toasty warm with these Rewiring boots that I have. I'm not even bullshitting. Normally with my regular boots, I wouldn't even be able to feel my toes. But these things are keeping my feet toasty warm. I love it. Rewiring. They're not a sponsor or anything. I just really enjoy their clothes and their workwear. Head on over to rewiring.com. All right, I believe this is the other one, because I checked out the ductwork, and this is the back room. I said that one's working. This one's not. Now let's see what we got going on with this guy. At least the disconnect's on. I hate just randomly turning disconnects on, hoping, oh my God, it's this one. Fucking disconnects off. It is this one because I was turned around down there. Come on, dude. Freaking disconnects off. Hate that. Come on, dude. Disconnects off. Now I gotta go through it. Look at everything. It is this one because what I did was went up into their area and my back was turned. I thought it would have been the exterior wall. It's not. It was the back side of their storage room. It is this one. That one's running. Son of a bitch. All right. Well, maybe they'll just be blown fuses everywhere and I can write it up to further troubleshoot. Because it's cold, guys, and I don't care what you say. I didn't go the extra mile, or I'm a hack. I don't know. I work much better in 35-degree temperatures than single digits and 10 degrees. But my fingers and toes, they are warm with my Rewiring, so I can't be complaining too bad. All right, what do we got here? This one does not look as nice as the other one. Cobwebs everywhere. All right, and check those fuses. Maybe we'll find a definite problem with this one and come back. Unit 2. I gotta get all the info because we've never been here before. Oh, look at that. Somebody already wrote it all down for me. I love it. Let's take a look at this blower. I'm gonna ask when I go down there if they had anybody here recently, you know, because I got 2 disconnects off. I'm dropping all my screws in the snow. Yeah, it sounds like garbage again. So we'll write this one up too. Boy, the bearings on the blower got some noise to them. I don't know. Let's just see if we can get this thing working and go from there. 2 disconnects off, unbelievable. It's a mystery. I hate to just turn it on and say, hey, somebody must have left it off. Because then at that point, I'm the last guy here, you know what I mean? Oh boy, another contactor, and it's a 25 amp. Maybe our fuses are blown. Let's take a peek. That contactor looks like dog shit though. All right, let me get the meter out, I'll bring you back. Those all look good. They have the indicator, none of it's black. So maybe they just had a filter guy here and left 2 contactors, or I left 2 disconnects off. I don't know. That's the problem with a disconnect being off and not knowing who was here last is, why is it off? What's the problem with it? It's 10 degrees and the customer's complaining. I'll go through and check everything again. We'll probably just kick it on and everything will probably work. I'm definitely going to be writing up a blower motor and possibly a blower rebuild just because I've got some noise out of that. Maybe these are blown. We're about to find out. I'll be back. Hey, guess what? All the fuses are good. I found nothing shorted to ground. All the wiring looks decent. I can't find any reason that the breaker or the disconnect would have been left off. So, I mean, this contactor is pretty smoked, but I can't imagine somebody would just shut their heat off because of that. I don't know when somebody was here last. Was it summertime? Are they having an air conditioning issue? I like to disable, like say I have a heat problem, I disable the heat and leave the unit on. That way they still have a display on their thermostat. They can still run cooling, things like that. You know, it's dirty, but this contactor's a little smoked, but maybe it's got a bad coil or something. We're gonna kick it on. Hope it doesn't go boom. I gotta keep the blower open here to test the amp draw on the heat strips. So let me stand back and make sure nothing goes boom. All right, blower. I got 18 amps on my contactor, on my heat strips. I got 25 amp fuses on a 25 amp contactor. Let me button this up so I can check the amp draw on the motor, which is getting written up anyway, but 3-phase 460 amps, 4.2 amps. So if we're pulling near that, I'm gonna recommend the blower just because. Oh no, look at this. I got two panels here. I was mistaken. I thought it was all one panel. Anyway, I checked the amp draw on the heat strips anyway. So let me button this up, check the amp draw on the motor, and we're gonna write up those things I just mentioned, contactors, blower motor, just because of the sound, the bearing sound. I'll recommend it, so everybody calm down. I will recommend the blower motor, and if they want to replace it, they will. These companies, these stores, they only write up, they only replace what they want to. My diagnosis is merely a suggestion to them. They'll even have another company come out and look at it all over again. We've been that second company, so everybody out here that says you're ripping off the customer by, we're only providing them with, you know, the parts we feel necessary. Like on a heat exchanger, we throw a lot of extra parts in there because why have a brand new heat exchanger with old parts that are gonna fail? So these companies work with these facilities companies. They don't pay for anything they don't want to. So I think I'm going pretty good on this one with just the contactors. The blower motor, as I said, will be a recommendation, a suggestion. If they want it replaced, they will. If not, we'll see them in 6 months when this one's shot. So anyway, I'm gonna button this stuff up, check the amp draw on this motor, make sure it's heating, and go tell the manager that you had 2 disconnects off. I may walk back over to that one before I go just to make sure it's still running and nothing crazy happened in the meantime, but I'll be back. All right, 3.5 on the blower. Let's see if I can get all 3 legs here. 3.9, so we're pushing 4 on that one, and then 3.7. So I'm gonna recommend that blower motor. I'm gonna button this one up. It is heating. We're gonna walk over, well, I'm gonna walk over, make sure that one's still operating and didn't shut off or blow a fuse while I was looking at this guy. And we're gonna go from there. I'm going to include in my quote that we look at every unit on this roof and give it a full diagnosis. Whether they approve that or not, that's up to them. But I think when we get accounts like this and start just getting service calls, you know, we don't get a chance, especially when it's 10 degrees, to look everything over and give a full proper diagnosis or account of what is on the roof. So in this report, I'm going to note, I only looked at these 2 units, the only 2 that were on the paperwork that you sent me to look at. If I was, you know, there's a certain amount of money that they want to spend on service calls, so I will suggest that all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 units get looked at when we come back to do the repair. So I'm making my way over one last time to make sure this one's still running, and then we'll end this video. All right, guys, she's running. So that's gonna be it for this video. If you liked it, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That'll notify you anytime I got a new video coming out. Leave me a comment, hit like. I appreciate you. Stay warm out there. And I'll see you on the next one.